All right, we're live. Welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Series. My name is Gina Spataro, and this is my brother, Sam Spataro. I got that right this time. I'm figuring
Yeah.
it out. Tonight's topic is basically on when to shift and move in your life. And a lot of the times it's within relationships. So before we kick this off, how was your week, Sam? What have you been up to? We missed last week because it was a holiday here.
Yes, we did. To all you, happy belated Canada Day. I
Hmm.
hope you are all enjoying yourselves despite all the wacky, crazy things that are going on in this world.
Hmm.
It's still so much far better to live here than it is in a lot of other country, guys. So still
Hmm.
focus on what you can be grateful for. But yeah, this week it's been good. I would say today was probably the most challenging when it comes to business, but just feeling really good as far as like health wise, work wise. There's been a lot of new opportunities. Gina, you're just froze. If you freeze one more time, you know what to do. But overall, things have been really good. I had a conversation with my wife yesterday just about COVID and everything, and just about the things that we sat down at the table talking about Canada, what we could be grateful for.
Hmm.
And I said, I'm just grateful for the coronavirus.
Mm.
And they're like, well, how can I? Like, because of all the amazing things that we've been able to do as a family, that would have taken years to do the exact same things. And
Mm.
not only that, the principles, the values, the things of like, the things that we're teaching them as we're pushing through these struggles and trying times. And yet we're still trying to be optimistic while filtering through all the noise and do things that, really allow us to stay structured as a family.
Yeah, it's funny because through all of this, a lot of people struggle in their own reasons why. Um, and yes, of course, you have to be mindful about the virus and etc. And its effects. But there's so much opportunity, born within this time. Even for myself and for you. And there's certain people that will take advantage and make it their strength, and there's certain people that will make it their crutch. And like I said today in a post that I was doing, it's you have to choose that mindset because it will choose you.
Oh yeah.
Choose
They'll
it.
use you and abuse you like a rag.
That's right, 100%. So, but for me, honestly, grateful for my position, my job. Grateful for having a roof over my head, being able to financially secure everything, but also seeing opportunity. I can't even begin to tell you how many beautiful things have come out of this time, and that's basically what it has been granted to us.
What's one thing that comes to mind?
Oh, just my focus groups right now. Like the birth of these groups is it's something phenomenal. Like I just got feedback from one of my ladies who was like, because I put a post out today sometimes so when you get uncomfortable in a situation, that means that it's time to get even more uncomfortable, right? And I put a thing out there, does being getting uncomfortable make you feel anxious, excited, scared? And one person wrote, who's in one of my groups, she said, of course I was anxious about it, but I was also so excited. And the anxiety lied in not knowing if people were going to judge me or if I was going to judge them, et cetera, et cetera. And now, her viewpoint is because she got uncomfortable, it's something she looks forward to every week. She has now been immersed in a tribe that she would never have imagined would have happened if she didn't give herself the opportunity to do so. And in my second group too, I'm also finding the exact same thing. So I've created some opportunities in all of this, but I've also have seen the tribal instincts in all of it, which is beautiful. So,
That's awesome. And that's a huge distinction too that she made, because anxiety is nervous energy.
a hundred
And it's
percent.
either translated as fear or it's translated as excitement. And one will make us completely feel something completely different. I'll obviously feel a different result. I just want to make a shout out to Jason
Mhm.
for supporting us and continually watching us. And for you guys out there who love Elvis Presley and also like that. Check him out. The guy is awesome.
There he is. That's right. So should we kick off our topic tonight?
Kick it. Let's kick it in gear. High gear. Let's go.
So as we get into it, please don't forget to support our channel. Hit the like button, notification bell, and please subscribe for future content. It helps us immensely. Okay, so the whole premise behind when to shift and move is based on a lot of the topics that I've had to encounter this week, where you find people get stuck in that victim mentality mindset. And it's the willingness to see, oh, okay, where does the work lie within me so I can see the lesson and the truth in it, where I can possibly become the teacher and create the shift and move. Because there's two options in life where it's you can see the lesson and see the growth and the opportunity, or you can fall victim to the circumstances. And I don't want to swear on here, but a lot of people be and complain about certain things all the time and don't choose to shift and move and learn. So this is the whole premise of it. Okay.
Shift and move and learn. I like it.
Okay. So I want to ask you a question. Okay. And no pressure. But what was the pivotal point in your life where you knew that you had to shift and move?
Okay, so obviously this is pertaining to more than just relationships.
Of course, because the reason why I say that is because in order for a relationship to grow, sometimes you have to become the change. And sometimes it takes one person to become the teacher within the relationship or the example. And we've discussed that before. Sometimes you have to lead by example by shifting and moving yourself and growing. Okay. And that will show up in multiple facets of your life: work, friendships, relationship, etc. Was there a pivotal point in your life where you were like, okay, something's got to give, something's got to change?
So I'm going to touch base on a couple of key things that come to mind. So the first thing would be my health. I can remember one time I was about 19 years old, and I remember driving and I had this crazy like acid buildup in my stomach, and I had to pull over because I thought I was going to throw up. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And luckily our mother is very, retrospect and, shifting and moving and being different, being outside of the traditional norms of like medicine and those sorts of things. And I seek counsel with her, and she gave me a contact of someone that we both seen. And I went and seen her, and that was a pivotal point in my life. I literally cut out sugars. I didn't know I was lactose intolerant. There were so many things that I didn't realize were going on in me. And so I literally went through like a 2-week detox. I was her student, and I can remember just like, it was almost like I was coming off of like heroin, but it was like sugar and certain things that we eat on a daily basis that we don't even realize are so addictive. But coming out of that and being very diligent and disciplined, I started to notice numerous things. I started to have more energy. I was performing better at work. That was the first year in soccer. I was top goal scorer. I ended up winning awards for best performing player, most valuable player. My skin started to change. My nails, my hair. People were like saying, well, like, what's going on? Your eyes are so shiny, and all these sorts of things. Even like from a sexual marketplace, I would walk into places and like I get googly eyes all the time because the whole aura changed. And so I would say that was pretty pivotal for me, because from that standpoint, up until this point in my life, I've always had that sort of mindset to look outside of the box with ways to do things traditionally. So if like I'm having a problem when it comes to health, okay, I got to look untraditionally to try and solve this for the long term and for the betterness of myself. Now, when it comes to career, I was a floater in life. I had jobs. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was 19. I was doing a network marketing company. I wasn't an academic like yourself. I sucked at school. And so I decided to go to college. and I didn't finish. And so I started to do some jobs. Our uncle called me for a summer job in the construction industry. And I remember flip-flopping back and forth. I ended up starting a printing promotional company up with one of my friends that didn't end up panning out. And at that point in my life, I was 24 years old, and I said to myself, like, what am I doing? I can't just keep flip-flopping back and forth from one thing to another. I'm never going to mount anything. I'm never going to have anything to fall back onto until I figure out one day what I want to do. And so I decided from that day on that I would do the construction thing. And for some of you who don't know what I do, I started to focus on just doing custom masonry work, that's stone, brickwork, and houses. And I kind of made it that my motto, and that was the belief that I would do this long enough until I figured out what I wanted to do. And if for some reason it didn't work out, I had something to fall back onto. Okay, so that was pretty pivotal to me. And at this time as well, I also was single. I was in the dating game, and I was never one for long-term relationships. I would always find within a couple months or weeks reasons to break up with them. I would always look for excuses of why it wouldn't work. And I had game, but I needed some sharpening. And so I tried to find alternative ways to sharpen my dating skills, my sexual market value. And I started to read up on some articles, and I found some really valuable things. And I literally would just stuff it in my pocket everywhere I go. It didn't matter if I was on trip in Mexico, I was at a bar, I was out with some friends or at a party. And it really helped me to start focusing on different dynamics on how to approach women, what to talk about, things to talk about, body language, eye contact, some alternative things that you can communicate to people to have a more effective way to capture them. And it wasn't too shortly after that I found my now wife. And I think there's one other thing that I can think of that I'd like to share, and I'll end on this, is other than being in business and being a little bit freaked out about that after I worked for my uncle for about 5 years and then running a company for 3 years. And I then pivoted on my own, and we had just, built a house, and there was a lot of uncertainty around it, is that, I decided to do it anyway. I mean, we come from a family of entrepreneurs, and my wife was also very supportive of that. And I just kind of learned the skills as I went, and I started educating myself on YouTube, and I bought books. And I think the real key thing is, for some of you who are maybe thinking about this and you're really afraid, I know someone that just started a company as well, is, if you want to grow in life, you have to welcome uncertainty. You can always fall back to things that are certain, jobs, working for other people, but you have to follow your passions in life. And there she goes, she's off again. I'm going to keep going. And that ultimately will fuel you to waking up every day, enjoying what you're doing, and becoming the most that you possibly can be. And so I'm still an entrepreneur today. I've started another company as well, which I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway because it's the premise of the foundation of who I'm about. It's about being the best me, sharing what I can with people, having the support from your spouse also, and just really being able to fuel your dreams and your passions. One other story that I want to share that's very pivotal for me when it comes to shift and moving is about 8 years ago, and I've always had anxiety my whole life, but never really knew what it was. About 8 years ago, and I've shared this before, my best friend died. I was, just in a partnership with somebody. We expanded our company. We doubled our workforce, and it kind of all collided all at the same time. And I started experiencing crazy amounts of anxiety. And so that caused me to have anxiety attacks every day, panic attacks every day. I could wake up literally every day, and it felt like I was carrying around a 40-pound weight on my chest because I didn't know how to communicate how I was feeling. And like most men, we don't know how to communicate. And so I kind of went down a dark path for a long time until one day I decided to stumble upon a program online that was an anxiety program that helped me a lot, and I will share it in the link below, that helped me to get a better understanding of what I was experiencing. And so by connecting with a greater cause and understanding that I wasn't the only one going through it, I decided to embark on that journey of doing something alternative rather than the meds that I was given. And it literally just helped me to retrain everything that I experienced. And if there's one thing I learned about my relationship with anxiety when it came to what I was going through in my relationship and my business, is that it's almost like that inner child reappears itself, and it's still trying to tell you about all those fears and, you know, really low beliefs that you had when you're a child that really aren't serving to you today. And so it's just about rewiring yourself, creating a better relationship with yourself, maybe loving yourself a little bit, being kinder, compassionate, and then ultimately finding a way that you can fuel your experience to create a better cause. And for me, it was to be a better husband, to be a better father, to be a better business owner, to be able to one day make a difference in other people's lives because of the experience that I was going through. And so from that, I embarked on that journey, and here I am today talking to you, and this is part of my passions that came out from my struggle. And so if you want to talk about shifting, if you want to talk about pivoting, in life, you don't get a deck of cards that's revealed to you. They're face down, and as life and time progresses, they eventually show themselves. And it's not necessarily that matters the cards that you get, but rather how you play them. That's how you become intelligent in life and in your relationships and in your business and seeking your passions. I'm 43 years old, I have 3 kids, I already have another company. And yeah, I started another business. It's a coaching consulting company, and it's taking away a little bit more time away from my family, my wife, my children, and some other things. But however, if it's your purpose, it should be an easy thing to convince your partner to support you on. Because if you become better, the relationship comes better, the family becomes better, your money becomes better, everything around you becomes better because your whole world begins to change. And so that's kind of one thing that I want to share. And maybe you're watching this, and trust me, we all have work that we can do. And if you're in a position in your relationship where you feel like you might have to shift and pivot, then I'm really going to tell you that when it comes to your relationship especially, that if you're struggling, it affects you in all areas of your life, every minute of the day. You won't be able to give as much because your relationship is where you go to be heard. Your relationship is where you go to be understood. Your relationship is where you go to be accepted and not judged. A relationship is where you go to feel safe. A relationship is where you go to feel loved. And so that's really what it's about. And so if there's one thing that I want to tell you all, if you're watching this, if there's one place you need to shift and pivot, and I'm sure the majority of you who are watching this are in relationships, it's start with your relationship. And I mean the relationship with yourself. You know, being the best you makes a better relationship. And so if some of you have struggles, maybe you have haunting things from childhood that are still appearing today. Maybe your partner isn't exactly the way you expected that they would be, or maybe doesn't treat you the way you want. And maybe the way you're reacting isn't serving to you or your relationship or to your family, whatever it might be. I want you to just take a pause. I mean, life has literally slowed down, I think, for most of us since the coronavirus hit. And just take some time to really evaluate this. And it's that you aren't going to live forever, and neither am I. And we are lucky enough to be a human being and not a fish, a piece of wood, a dog, a cat, whatever it might be. And so what type of mark do you want to leave? What do you want to think about in your last breath? When you look back in your life, what kind of difference did you want to make? Who did you want to touch? What kind of legacy did you want to leave behind? And so whether this has to do with your company, your relationship, overcoming maybe a mental health struggle, maybe not having a partner in a relationship that wants to spend time on themselves and grow to make it better. Whatever it might be, maybe you have struggles with your kids. You know, maybe they didn't get exactly the deck of cards and you thought that they should get dealt. They have health struggles. Physically, mentally, whatever it might be, whatever your problem is, the very first thing I want you to do right here, right now is to say why. Why do I want to fix this problem? And the second thing is, how will it serve my purpose? Meaning, what difference will it make in my life? And then the third thing that I want you to do is I want you to look at the results that it will bring into your life. You see, I did a post on Twitter and Facebook, one of my stories this week, and it said, I've literally learned how to enjoy chasing my goals because I no longer focus on the price, but rather the prize. And I'm looking at you here today, speaking to you here today, saying every day for me, I have struggles. It isn't easy because you're trying to recondition 43 years or however long you've been here of a way that you've believed and been, the things that you valued and seen the world. I get it. But it's no excuse not to become better when you know there's areas that you need to improve. And so take this time here today. Take this time here right now to just make sense of it all and try to find a way to look at things from the most optimistic way. I have my partner watching in one of my companies right now, and I'm very grateful that he walked into my life. Last fall, we decided to team up. We've been in the industry together. We've had a relationship for a long time. We just started to decide to work together in a completely different way. And he's literally brought me up at least 10x in my discipline and my efficiency of work, the amount of wealth that I've created, my discipline for doing my social media, because he also has a channel for some of you who are watching this. His name's Jason Bailey. You can link him if you love Elvis and old school sort of soulful music. And you really just need to start surrounding yourself maybe with people that bring you up. Maybe it's in your work. Maybe it's in a sports team. Maybe it's in a community online. Maybe it's watching videos like this. And if you're watching it, please subscribe to our channel. We could really use your support. And you can also welcome you into this community that we're trying to build. And so I think I'm going to keep this short. We've been going for 20 minutes. And if you have watched us, maybe leave us some questions down below of any video topics that you might want. Maybe you could also add something of value that might make a difference in someone's life. For me, my mission is to become the biggest mental health advocate on the planet, to teach people how to retrain that villain in us all. That's the beliefs, the things that were hammered in on us from parents, family, friends, religion, coaches, teachers, media, the government, whatever it is. Take that villain in you, retrain it because you know it's not the real you, and find a way to turn it into superpower that fuels you to your purpose, that fuels you to a mission, to a better life. And I can tell you, every day I wake up, I'm trying to become a better version of myself because you owe it to yourself. I owe it to myself, and you owe it to the people around you. Okay? And I'm going to end on that. I appreciate you watching this channel. We appreciate your support. My sister is missing in action. If any of you know her whereabouts, I'll give you a discount on the next coaching session that we have. But anyway, I'm going to end on that. And if you are going to dream today, guys, make sure that you dream big and keep smiling.